Creative Katie, welcome to my channel and Index Card a Day 2020. Get ready, get set, go. The first part, I'm going to tell you how I got ready and how I created some backgrounds that I'll be using throughout this challenge. And then we have week 1 ICADS at minute 13:11:50.
Hi everybody, welcome to Index Card a Day 2020. I wasn't going to do it this year because I'm just busy I've got other things on the go, and that just felt odd because I have done the Index Card a Day challenge for 4 years running. So I'm going to do it again this year, and I'm going to use those things that I already have. I'm going to minimize the amount of time that I'm going to do with it. And in all likelihood, there's going to only be one video per week that's going to cover all the ICADs that I did that week. So sometimes there may be one, sometimes there may be 5, but I'm going to try to put them all into one video to give you ideas, to give you inspiration for that. Now, last year, and that's what you're looking at, all my index cards from last year, I decided to see if I could repurpose my old mini happy planner. And I did a gel printing session at the beginning, and I put color down onto the pages, and I had a lot of these pages ready to go. And in fact, I still have some of those pages here that I can grab at any time, and I've got the beginnings of an art journal page. I also, throughout the year, I might grab one and add modeling paste, some leftover modeling paste, or some leftover stenciling. So it's good to have on hand, and it's interesting how these pages evolve. But I have some of these. Now, some of the colors, I'm wanting something a little different, and I need a little bit more. So, as luck would have it, you know, I had another mini happy planner that's just waiting to get repurposed. So this will be the happy planner cover for 2020. Now I can use the front of this. If you don't like the cover of it, if you turn it over, and this one has a beautiful pattern. It says live creatively, so I'm going to use that. And then I have all my blank pages. So I thought I would just walk you through what I did to some of these pages, share some of the preparations to give you an idea. Now the idea behind this is I'm sitting down, I'm going to dig out all my paints, and then I'm going to have these backgrounds at the ready. It's like having the stuff in your stash. It just makes that creative time. When I sit down to do the ICADS, I'm going to spend less time on those pages. Make sense? So now some of my pages have a lot of writing or are darker pages. Now for those, what I discovered last year, and in case you hadn't watched me last year, is you can put gesso onto your jelly plate. Now, my gesso is fairly smooth. It's not gritty, so you're going to and I had absolutely no problem cleaning it or scratching it. Nothing happened to my gel plate, but you may want to be careful initially, just in case. So I'm just going to get a piece of paper here so I can get this down. And what I'm going to do is just gesso some of these pages, just so I white out whatever was there, the writing, push it back a little bit further. I'm not looking for exactly complete coverage, but I just want to push it back that little bit. So when I do decide to put color on, I don't have to work too hard. Because again, sometimes in my happy planner, I may have written things that I may want to keep a little bit more private. So I'm just putting on the gesso. And setting them off to dry. Now when you pick them up, don't do what I just did. Be careful here, because as they get wet, you might end up ripping them if you're not too careful. But if you're careful, it's all good. Now I want to prepare some pages. Whoops, see, there I go. Perfect examples. This got left on here a little bit longer. So, yep. Fortunately, I have lots of pages. Remember, we are dealing with, this is not mixed media paper. This is less than perfect substrate. And I know when I create, I sometimes like to have a few blank pages because I might just decide, hey, I'm in the mood for this color, or I want to do the color scheme challenge that you can watch on my page.
So I kept the gel plate out, and I am doing a gel printing session on all of these cards. And I'm using stencils. I'm layering the stencils on there. I'm pulling paint through the stencils. And if I like what I see, it goes in the like pile. And if I don't, it goes in the needs more or needs to be covered up pile. And I will list some of these stencils in the description box below. They are all from Crafters Workshop, and as most of you know, I am a brand ambassador with them. You can see a flip through of all the pages at minute 10:54 if you want to skip ahead. I'm just showing you a very quick show of some, not even all of the gel printing session. But this is a really quick way of getting some Insta backgrounds. This is going to give me a jump start when I'm doing the index card. It's going to save me some time. I don't need to get necessarily all my paints out. And I want that more than ever this year when I'm doing the index card a day challenge, because I don't want this to take up a lot of time. And I end up making a lot of backgrounds on these Happy Planner pages. Way more than I will be using for the Index Card a Day Challenge. I love this look with, kind of getting that ombre kind of look, 3 different colors, and I'm pulling through on deli paper, and I will use those as collage sheets. That will go in my stash to be used with the ICADS or with some other art journaling project down the road. With the Index Card a Day Challenge, I want to minimize the amount of time that I'm doing with them. I also want to use things that are already in my stash. That was a sink liner, and it makes the most absolute lovely patterns on the gel plate. Some of these I add some stamping to later on, some to get more layers. Here I'm using that sink liner as a stamp and just adding more layers until I get something that I kind of sort of like. And if I still don't like it, I can always put paint on top of it. Here you see I'm doing some stamping on some of them. I'm just kind of turning around and grabbing whatever's within arm's reach. I wanted to get a smattering of each and every color as well. My plan is to go with the prompts if they speak to me, or just go off prompt if they don't. The goal is to create not necessarily follow the prompt. And there again, I'm pulling the paint through onto deli paper, and those pages become great collage sheets. Do I love every one of the backgrounds? No, not right now. But remember, they're not necessarily complete. I can add to them any stamping, stenciling, modeling paste, whatever the page is going to require. Remember, it is the starting point. I'm getting rid of that blank page. I'm giving myself maybe a little bit more inspiration. So here are all of the gel prints. And I'm just going to flip through them and you will see me using these. Some will become Insta backgrounds. I will pretty much use them as they are. Others, I might add a lot to them, and yet some of them might just get a coat of gesso and I start right from scratch. I wanted to get variety of colors. I wanted to get variety of marks. Just to give myself that jump start. This one right here is you're going to see in week 2. Spoiler alert. So overall, I'm really happy with these backgrounds. My next step is to go through my stash, look at magazine clippings, look at clip art, look at the collage elements that I have, familiarize myself with them so I can go and use them when the prompts come out. My goal for each week is to do 3 to 4 ICADS. And I will put out one video each week showing all those that I created. That way I can continue to bring you my napkin journal tutorials, my color scheme tutorials, as well as technique videos. And then I've got some blank ones. So right now we are going to watch the tutorials for week 1 of Index Card a Day. So here's the first one. This one wasn't on camera. The prompt was marigold. And it's called Take Chances, and that's what I want you to do during this challenge. Take chances. Here's the complete card. I use kind of that flower motif and the colors of marigold. Remember, you can interpret the prompt however you like. So this is number 2, and I'm doing it on the back. The prompt here is Dreamcatcher. Easy prompt for me to do because I love, love, love Dreamcatchers, and I've made some. But I'm doing this one a little bit differently. Instead of using a mandala stencil, which is what I typically do for the top part, I choose to use a black and white flower print, free printable. And then instead of feathers, I'm going to use butterflies. And I grabbed my butterfly stamps. Now this stamp was just from the dollar store. Nothing fancy. I picked it for its size and I'm going to keep it black and white. You can use what you want. I will see if I can find something in Amazon that is similar to what I have. And the links for that will be in the description box below. So I'm just cutting out these. I stamp them with archival ink because I want to have it permanent. I don't want things to start reactivating. And I have this thing lately of having colorful backgrounds and using black and white focal images. I really am finding that striking. So this is tissue paper, and I went through this stencil called Dash V, and I put black modeling paste. Now I did this as a stash builder. And what this allows me to do is I can cut it apart, I can manipulate it, I can addition it wherever I want and use bits and pieces of it. So it's a quick way of getting the texture of modeling paste without having to fuss and muss with stencils. And so for doing the index card a day where time is, something I'm watching, I don't want to spend a lot of time doing it, this is great to have these in your stash. So I'm cutting them to make kind of the strings of the Dreamcatcher. Loving the movement of it. And again, they're black and white. Now, because they're on the tissue paper, they're very easy to cut apart. They're also, when you put them down with matte medium, the tissue part goes translucent and you see whatever's in the background come through. Great time saver. So along with doing a gel printing session, I did a modeling paste session where you're building the stuff in your stash, and that's just saving time for when I do sit down and do the index card a day challenge. And I'll be honest, sometimes when I do the index card a day challenge, it's not happening every day. I might sit down and do 2 because I have that block of time. And then I'll just edit the videos together. I absolutely love how this page turned out though. Just adding some details with my Sakura glaze pen. And edging it with black to frame. Even though it's an ICAD, I'm going to finish it the same way I finish my canvases. Now I'm grabbing the sentiment pack, short and sweet, and I have some ones that have black backgrounds with white letters. And again, because of what color scheme I'm going here, I just thought, you know what, that's perfect. I cut out the word dream big and play with the orientation a bit. I like it there, and so I'm gluing it down with the matte medium. That sentiment pack is available for purchase. You can email me at creativekatie@gmail.com if you're interested in purchasing it or any of the other sentiment packs. So here's the other one, and I was playing around with some Mandela stencils and my fine line bottle. So I had that kind of done. I was just playing around and I thought, okay, now what can I do with this? So I stamped this poppy stamp, and I'll put the link in the description box, and I'm just adding the sentiment flower power. Really quick and easy. Sometimes those gel prints that I have done on those repurposed pages, I add to it, or I grab them and I play with them. So I might add paint, I might add stenciling to it, I might add stamping to it, I might put some collage papers out of the moment when I'm sitting there. Something might occur to me. And so by the time I come back to them, sometimes they are partially done, like this one. So really all I had to do was stamp out the focal image, this poppy, and find a sentiment. Here I'm outlining it with my Sakura glaze pen. You know I've talked about these before. I love this pen. It dries permanent and dimensional, and it's glossy. And I just want that poppy to stand out a little bit more from the background. So there's the Mandela stencil that I used here. And this set is I think there were 28 on Amazon. I will put a link to it. It's a great deal. Good value for your money. And I'm edging it with black. Now this one, the prompt was highway, and I'm going with the idea of exploring. You hit the highway to go explore. And I just had that gorgeous background with the warm colors, and I stenciled using the leaf emblem stencil. Now I'm just blackening it out a little bit more. And then I'm going to put another black and white image. Now this little lizard has been sitting on my desk for a while. You will be seeing another video with a lizard on it. And I had a different size one. This one was just left in my bin, and as per my desire with ICADS, I'm going to use what's in my stash, what's available. And this just kind of reminded me of a hot summer day where the lizards would be crawling. And I like how the diamond shape on the lizard matches the diamond shapes in that leaf emblem. Get out my fine line bottle and go around with white. I glued the sentiment on, explore. I think that comes from my short and sweet sentiment pack as well. And just a little bit of detailing. I'm not being too precise. So there are the 4 ICADs for week 1. I hope you enjoyed them. I hope you're going to give this challenge a try. Remember, you can make it whatever you want. You can do 1, you can do 5, you can do 7 in a week. So we'll see you in week 2. Stay tuned for some close-ups of the finished pages. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment. Follow me on Instagram @CreativeKatie. Happy creating!